Hello, my name's Stephen Shaw, and I am the owner of FitCore, which is a mobile personal training company. I also lead worship with my wife at our church. Been doing that for many years, and I lead for junior high, and my wife and I lead college group, and we also lead main service. I feel extremely blessed because my hobbies consist of the things that I do for a living. So that's been an extreme, something I'm grateful for every single day, because music and fitness are the only two things I'm good at, and I get to do both. The best thing about it too is that my whole life is centered on Christ, and so the fact that I get to sing and write music to glorify God, as well as teach people through fitness that that's your physical body isn't the most important thing, and I preach that too, even through my business. I really dislike pop music, and I really dislike workout programs, training programs that are dangerous out there. It seems like I see more often than not training that is just, if it's not going to hurt you right now, you're setting yourself up for injury in the future, and that's no bueno. I've been judged about the way I look since I was 15, when I started wanting to look a certain way. I remember, obviously I didn't have any tattoos at 15, but I remember at age 12, I finally got my first guitar, and then I became Mr. Like Metalhead, and I wanted to just play rock and roll and do that for the rest of my life. And started growing my hair long, started wearing, those certain clothes, which, I kind of expected to be judged. I didn't think anyone was going to think I was an innocent person, even though I was. I would go to church all the time, and, even back then I believed in God and stuff. So yeah, I started growing my hair long, and then I was playing heavy metal music, so of course I was being judged. But, I was very, very innocent and pure during all my high school years. It wasn't until after I started getting into bad stuff. But I remember specifically getting into music and seeing this band. It was 1991, and I saw this live from Moscow heavy metal band. I don't know if I can mention any names, but it's Pantera. And the singer of Pantera had a shaved head and tattoos, and was, looked all powerful and stuff. And I remember at that age, however old I was, 12, I thought, that's what I want to look like one day. And it stuck, and that's what I look like now. So I guess it worked. But I didn't mind the judgment I knew that was coming, because there was also something about seeing somebody that looked a certain way and people judging them, and then finding out that they weren't that way. If that makes sense? I look this way, and yet I'm a father and a husband and, a God-fearing, Christ-loving man. So I always enjoyed that, as weird as that sounds. I remember specifically a couple times, in my older youth life, like senior year high school, long hair, ponytail and blue goatee and things, and which, why would you not be judged? But, I got pulled over all the time. I drove a truck, and my friends and I would always get pulled over just for the way we look, because they wouldn't have any reason why they pulled us over, but just what happened. And of course it was frustrating and annoying, but what are you going to do? That's just how we are. To be honest with you, I pass judgment still on people, and not judgment so much I would treat them any different. Just when I see somebody with tattoos, I'm thinking, they're probably up to no good, but I guess that's just the way our culture is. I don't know. I'm working on it. So my first tattoo, it's actually this one right here. I designed it for the first band I was in, and incidentally enough, a few years into that band, my dad actually became a part of that band, and which was super cool. It's a cool bonding experience for us. So when I was 17, on Father's Day, my dad and I went and got that same tattoo. And then later on, the drummer of the band got it as well. So it was like this whole little union thing, which was really cool. Nobody really shocked or anything. My family's cool. My family's kind of crazy anyways. Maybe that's where I get it from. But, I think everyone's got some form of tattoo in my family, so that's not the thing. But my wife's family, however, I met her when she was 17 and I was 24. And looking the way I do, I wasn't as beardy or tattooy back then, but I still had plenty. You can imagine their shock and disapproval. They're not undisapproval, they're disapproval. But we worked it out. They saw that I wasn't the devil. So well, they all are either Native American or Christ-centered, because those two things are never going to go away, because I am Cherokee and Navajo, and like you've heard before, I love Jesus. So lots of cool little symbols and artwork of stuff, and Greek and Hebrew and things, and Bible verses and stuff. So, well, 3 crosses. Obviously, it's a silhouette of the crucifixion, because that's when Jesus bore all our sin and made the new covenant, so we weren't under the curse of the law anymore. This is a cool symbol. It's actually an ancient symbol for the Trinity. Father is not the Son, Son is not the Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit is not the Father, but they are all one. It's pretty cool. There is therefore now no condemnation for those. Oh, sorry, I was reading Romans 8. That's not the right one. Luke 24:7. The Son of Man. I forget what it is. The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again. Luke 24:7. Psalms 27:1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? For the Lord is my stronghold of my life. For whom shall I be afraid? Some art from St. Paul's Cathedral in England. Some Indian stuff. Some other Greek and things. They kind of keep going. Across my back I've got Thy Kingdom Come, because I want Jesus' will to be done in this world and in my life more than anything else. So hope that's enough explanation. Well, everybody sees me differently than I am at first. There's been a few occasions where even, an old lady that I would think right away would be afraid of me, seems like she can see who I am right away. So that's really cool. Like, they, I don't know, see the sweetness of my eyes, which is what I've been told before. But most of the time it's, become friends with somebody and then they tell me, oh yeah, man, when I first met you, I was so afraid of you. I thought you were going to be like this mean person. So that's kind of just a story of my life, which I go back to. I kind of enjoy that. I don't mind people being a little weary and afraid, so then I can win them over. Getting a job when I had long hair was a little more difficult, but I would always just find the jobs that you didn't have to do that. But I've had pretty much every job in the world that I can think of, and I've got a lot of training under my belt, and everything from catering to construction, mold removal to delivery jobs to, banking, everything. And so starting my own business was the only way to go, because it's the only way I could kind of do what I wanted. And I started Fitcore actually when I was working at the bank, because I didn't want to work at the bank. I didn't want to bounce around from job to job anymore. So I realized, why am I not doing something else with the only other thing that I'm good at? Music's not paying the bills, so how do I make a living at doing fitness stuff? So I just started my own business. That's how I started. I didn't even work at a gym training or anything first. I just started my own business and it took off. That's just a blessing right there. It's been 8 years now and it's been great. Really, the only difficulties in starting this business is just to keep it going. My mindset going into it was so much out of desperation, like, I need to do this because I'm not working for somebody again doing something I hate. It's just not going to happen. I will work for $15 an hour if I have to, training people, because I do not want to go back to another job. So just keeping it going, keeping clients. But like I said, it's been a blessing. I've seen God's hand in this from day one, because He brings people when I need people, and He takes people away when I need a break. So it's been great. And with the playing music stuff, all I do now is play worship. I've been in rock bands, in and out my whole life, and got tons of metal songs. But my passion right now, my joy, is so much so just recording my bluesy, folky, rock, acoustic, bluegrassy music that we play at church. I record it, and my church listens to it, and we all sing it together, and that is one of the coolest things ever. I don't regret getting tattoos. There's a couple tattoos I probably would maybe not get or got a little differently, but I look at tattoos as not even as like individual, like, oh man, this one really bugs me right here. I just think of it as an overall look and that I've have accomplished and accomplishing. I don't ever think I ever felt like I had to overcome any obstacles. I think I just so much wanted to look a certain way that was my fight, and that's what got me into fitness in the first place. Is I was really skinny. I'm naturally a 160-pound guy, and until then, I felt like I couldn't train anybody. I couldn't do anything like that because I was just too skinny and couldn't pull it off. But so when I finally started doing it for myself, as in getting the way I wanted to look, get bigger and stronger and feel better about myself, then that enabled me to take on the role, create the character of myself in the world. But that's the only obstacle. I mean, it took, a good 5 years to gain the weight I wanted in a natural way. I'm doing currently as I'm great. Life is great. My wife and I adopted our first little baby boy. He's just turned 9 months yesterday, when is today? November 20th, so the 19th, he turned 9 months, and he is just the joy of my heart, and my wife and I are just in bliss right now with him, and every day just gets more fun. And raising a child, I knew I would love him, but I had no idea how much I was going to. To be honest, my first advice for people that want to get inked up: don't. Not yet. Because, and this is why, going back to my previous statement of do I judge, or why I judge people with ink, because most of the time the ink I see is really bad. And it kind of goes back to the same stuff. I mean, a normal person who looks like me, it probably isn't going to be the best kind of person, and I mean that in the nicest sense, because I mean I know what it looks. Why I get judged, and people like me get judged for the way we look, because usually our look is up to no good. Happy Thanksgiving. But it's kind of their own fault, when you have skulls and flames and sword tattoos on yourself that are very trashy looking. They're gonna assume a certain kind of response from people. So when you start getting tattoos too young, before you even really know who you are or what you're into or anything like that, it's something that you can definitely regret. And I know, when you're young, you just want to look a certain way, but be patient. Know yourself. Don't get any tattoos that are too strong, opinionated in a certain way, because I guarantee you in 10 years from now, if you don't think a different way, you're probably going to at least regret having something like that tattooed on you.